All right, everybody, welcome to the first edition of this season of Blend Blazers Podcast with your host, Ricardo D. Rice. And this is kind of a celebrity episode as well because this guy's no stranger to most of you. You've heard his music, you've seen his face. Today, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty, though. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to go from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Canton Jones. I'm a native of Deerfield Beach, Florida. I'm from South Florida. I came to Atlanta to go to school. Went to Morehouse College.
I'm about to say, I did say Morehouse.
Yeah. And my wife went to Spelman, and we just settled here.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, man. We settled here. We have 4 kids. My daughter is in college right now. Who's
the youngest?
My youngest is 8. He's Justice. So I have one girl, 3 boys. My daughter's at SCAD in Savannah. She's 19. Then I have a 15-year-old boy, 11-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy. Yep.
Okay, well, not too bad of a stepping stone. They're all kind of within the same age range. Okay,
Right.
y'all playing that well. Y'all playing that well.
Yeah, well, it wasn't no plan. We was practicing every day. You know what I'm saying? That's all God. When he you know. So that's.
But you have a nickname though, don't you go by something else like
K-Joe?
K-Joe. Oh, I saw that when I was
which
looking
is just C-A-J-O, the first 2 letters of each name. I had a company with my brother Black, who's in heaven now, and our company was called J Black, for CJ and Black. And then when we kind of went our separate ways, I just named the company K-Joe. Instead of calling it CJ Productions or CJ Records, called it K-Joe.
I like that. That works. Like it's like a beginning of your name towards the end. It kind of works. To those that don't know, it works.
Yeah,
it works.
yeah.
All right, so let's start with brass tacks. Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
Not the beginning.
All right.
But when did it all start? Music in general. When did it all start?
For me, my dad sang in a quartet group when we was growing up, and I grew up Pentecostal, Kojic, Church of God in Christ.
Oh, you poor baby.
So I had to sing in the choir. My mom. And she was the choir director, and so music was in the house. Sang with my brothers and sisters, and we, it was in the house. And then my dad brought me some music equipment, this old school 4-track when I was like a teenager, 15 years old, and because everybody back then wanted to be Michael Jordan. Being from Florida, you wanted to play football too. So sports was my thing at first, but man, I fell in love with music, man, and got hooked. And I've been in it ever since.
Actually, that works well for you because Kojic and Apostolic are known for music. So I'm sure you didn't get a lot of pushback when you went to decide you want to do music.
When I got pushback when I started doing the type of music I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Not the fact that I was doing music. I grew up singing, church songs, gospel music, quartet music, choir music. But there was a stint when I was just producing mainstream guys off the street, just doing rap, hip hop. It wasn't gospel, it wasn't Christian. It was just, when I was in college, just making money and doing my thing. The intent was to keep it clean, but the money started coming, and it was like, bro, okay. And and so over time I strayed away from that. So when I kind of got back into the church, the Lord told me not to change my sound, not to change my sound, but change the lyrics. And so when we think gospel, we think of sound. We don't really, we assume that it's biblically sound.
One would assume, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
One would assume.
When you hear a song that's gospel, you have an assumption that it's biblically sound. So you thinking that it's from the Bible, but you're more so checking for the elements of the music, the Hammond B, the choir, and then people based off the sound say that's gospel. It's even I try to explain it to people. If if you rent a car in another city and you're trying to find a station, you're gonna go, you're not listening for lyrics, you're listening for sound. Okay, this is my sound, therefore this is my channel. And so for years, we've made gospel a sound, where I made gospel content, which means I make the sound whatever, and I put God over whatever it sounds like, whether it be rock, pop, hip hop, jazz. The gospel is in the lyrical content. It's not in the sound.
Actually, okay, so hold that thought, because I was gonna wait, but since you don't drag me there now, I was gonna wait and ask that question.
Yeah.
So the notion, do you consider yourself a Christian hip hop artist? Is that where you would land?
No, I consider myself a musician. So because if you go through any of my projects, you're gonna say this song he's hip hop, this song he's quartet, this song he's R&B, because at heart I'm a producer. So I like to make the music. I love the process of making all types of music. On my latest project, like I said, I went to Morehouse. I was in the Morehouse College Glee Club. My wife was in the Spelman College Glee Club. We sing opera music. We sing Negro spirituals. And I mixed a opera song and I put it on top of techno. And so that's not gospel. That's not R&B.
That's not boxed.
That's
just not boxed.
That's just K-Jo. And so my mind works different. And so people branded me as Christian hip hop because I didn't fit in the gospel box.
That was kind of where I was going with that. So when you think about, because I had Bishop Hezekiah Walker 2 years ago, and we had a conversation about Christian versus gospel.
Right.
When you think about gospel, you think about African Americans, our music, and then when you think about Christian, it's more of
it's white people.
It's white people music. CeCe managed to cross into it, but it's typically white people music. So when I hear the term, or when I think about, I'll lump you only for this conversation. Mm-hmm. When I think about artists like yourself, Lecrae, it used to be The Truth. I think he went to Truth now.
He's Emmanuel,
yeah. Do we go with Christian because we can't put you guys technically in gospel? Is that how we end up veering that way?
No, Truth is a rapper.
Like a regular rapper.
Lecrae is a rapper. Their content is kingdom. So it's Christian because everything breaks down into the ears of the listener. Mm. So basically, you got gospel hip hop versus Christian hip hop.
What is there a difference?
Huge difference.
See, I wouldn't know that. So what is the difference?
You just explained it. There's a difference between gospel music and Christian music. One funnels to white people, one funnels to black people. So even though the content, if I do rap, my rap is a lot more muddy and a lot more street sounding than other Christian rappers. So I would be clumped in a gospel hip hop sector. You know what I'm saying? Because it's based off the appeal. Who's the audience? So with me, I just got clumped in the hip hop because it was like, well, he sings, but he doesn't sing he doesn't sing all the time, and he rap, but he doesn't rap all the time, and he what are you? You know, and so they you know how it is, man.
Yeah, they have to put
anything
you
that they don't want to
somewhere.
put in the main church, they put in the youth ministry. So the step team goes to the youth ministry.
Yeah.
Anything that don't fit in regular church is thrown to the youth ministry, and so that's kind of where I ended up.
So reception, because when we talk about gospel hip hop versus Christian hip hop, what is the reception like? Let's say for the Kojic spaces you came from.
Right.
How receptive are they to gospel rap?
So gospel rap or rap, let's just say rap period, in the space of Christianity. White people have made millionaires. They have a tour circuit. They have regular support.
For rap artists?
That's how Lecrae got hot.
That's what I figured.
That's how most of the guys got hot. In the sector of gospel, when you talk about that world, Church of God in Christ, Full Gospel,
PAW.
There is no support for hip hop, even though hip hop impacts those people more than the Christian space.
Really? Well,
because every church is in the hood. And when they leave church, tell me, of course we playing Get Me Out Jesus or whatever in church. But when you leave church, what's going to be passing your church? Everybody's going to be playing hip hop. Even on Sunday. Everybody surrounding that church Everybody that's in the grocery store is influenced by hip hop.
This is true.
So why not praise God with the language of your community? And so, and I'm not saying exclude what's going on now, but what it seems like to me is we take an exit from what's reality to go into a fantasy world, which means the music that we're doing in here, we don't necessarily play out here. We might play it at times, and big shout out to the radio stations that have, all markets don't have 24-hour a day gospel stations. So big shout out to those who do. We're lucky enough in Atlanta to have it, but most people don't. So most of the times, that's why I call it church music, because we only want to hear it during church time. And when you've conditioned most mainstream people who are Sunday goers, who might not subscribe to the everyday prayer life thing, like might club on Saturday, but still be in, and they're conditioned to only do God and all of the God music on Sunday.
Certain days.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you got guys that love hip hop, that's gangster, but they want to hear a church sound on Sunday because that's the condition. And I'm like, nah, bro, you need to really put it in your everyday walk. You need to have Monday music and not just Sunday music. You need Tuesday music. So you need something because when you leave, you want to hear it on 808. You want to hear a certain sound. So we need to put God in that sound, And so because let's test it. When do you want to hear Christmas music? At Christmas time,
around in December.
You see what I'm saying? And after that, we don't want to hear it.
It's true.
Even though we love it when the time is right. But Jesus Christ is relevant. His birth is relevant all year round. So we're conditioned to only hear about his birth around a certain time of the year. You see what I'm saying? So gospel music, as far as being a sound, makes people only feel like it's only relevant when I feel like it's time to get spiritual, or when it's time to just cry out to God, when bills are due, when stress is happening, when somebody broke my heart. We don't want to give God every emotion. No, when it's time to get lit, or when I'm feeling sexy, or when I'm feeling whatever, I don't have any kingdom representation musically for that emotion. So therefore, I don't think about God. And I'm saying God is relevant in every emotion. There's a sound for every emotion that God is relevant. That's Canton Jones.
I like that. So when you make an album, how do you make an album? Like what you basically said is, I'm not a boxed artist.
I'm out of the box. That's out of the box.
So when you make an album, how do you go into album? Is it like, okay, well, I definitely want to represent, like you were saying, for the person that's trying to get dressed, or for the person that's trying to do this? Is that how you make an album?
I usually typically make an album of life, real life. This last record is called "They Stole My Computer."
I saw that and I was like, this is interesting.
It's a story and it's super real. Matter of fact, I was in this area when my computer was stolen. And so, and I vent in my music. And so every air condition has a vent. Well, a man that can't vent is gonna explode.
This is true.
And so when that computer was stolen, I had a breakdown because of so much. My mom and dad is in heaven. So I did my mom's home going on there. I had my dad's music on there. And I had stuff I can't get back on there. You see what I'm saying? And so it was more than just losing the computer. It was like they took me.
Yeah, like a lifeline.
You know what I'm saying? And so writing in that process, and it was and the computer was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was so many other things going on at the same time. And so, but like I say, I usually vent in my music. I get it out of my music. That happened, all right, vent in the music. That happened, don't worry about it, I vent in the music. Well, you shut that off. And now it's like, woo. And so this record is the first time I've written real time. Like, this
In
is
the
happening
moment.
right, yeah. And it is a real record. You know, it is a real record. When I lost that, I agreed with everybody that if I could get the songs from my phone, I emailed some people just in reference. Like, if I want somebody to play bass on it, I emailed them a copy. I needed them to send that back to me because that's the only copy that I have. And I had to go through that whole thing to try to piece together a project, and it ended up being like a masterpiece because you can literally feel where I am on this record. Now, it's separated into 4 parts. It is the largest record that the most songs ever released by a gospel artist at one time.
How many songs on it?
61 songs.
There are 61 songs. So there's like 20 something in each part.
It's
like
16, 12, 17, and 14, something like that. But they're all different. God MD is part 1, and that's really the reality of where I was. Certain songs on there. One song says, I see you. Like, people says, how can you serve a God you can't see? How can you serve a God you can't feel? And I say, well, whenever I see the sun, I see you. Whenever I see the moon, I see you, God. Whenever I see the trees, I see you, God. I can see you, God, in everything. But also, I'm in ICU. I'm in intensive care. So at that part, I'm in my most broken place on that record. And God is saying, also, I see you. I haven't forgotten about you. I know where you are. I see you. So don't think that I've forgotten about. So it's writing like that that's on this project, where I'm real time showing people where I am. I got faith that God is gonna bring me out. I know He is, but right there, I'm in
this
it.
moment,
and I'm writing real time. There's been some men of God that seemed invincible to me at times, to where they come out on a pulpit and they seem like, and they preach an amazing sermon, but you don't know that they're dealing with issues. You don't know that they're sick. You don't know that they going through divorce. You don't know anything because they have this appearance that they can't be hurt. And so, and then they might say, man, I battled, y'all know I was battling such and such 3 years ago.
After it's over.
And it's like, it's people that sometimes feel like, is there something wrong with me that something's wrong with me? Because you always seem like there's nothing wrong with you. And you preaching it, but I don't see it real time with you. You get to go and vent and do all this closed doors. I come to you with mine, and you make it seem like I don't have it together because I don't have it together.
All right, so hold that thought, because that's actually a good segue.
Mm-hmm.
So with that mindset, is that how you ended up in the reality show space with the real preachers of Atlanta?
Yes, trying to show people the lifestyle of somebody that's real, that's somebody that makes mistakes. That's the same reason why I wrote the record like this, to just try to show you real time, to show you that God's gonna bring me out and He's gonna bring you out. But things happen, and the disappointment when people see preachers and they so hard on preachers when they make a mistake is because they present that they don't make mistakes. And that is the issue. It's like, man, he fell from grace, but you can't really fall from grace. That's why they call it grace. You can't fall from grace.
Yeah, but is there a line for preachers specifically that is too open? Like, is there a space that's just too vulnerable to share with the world, in your opinion?
In my opinion, if you can't share it, then it's fake. Now, I'm not going to show you me having sex with my wife, but I'll tell you that I will. Look what I just did. Where do you think my children come from? Why do we have to be so shy about something that's so real? And then all of our issues lie in this area. What you do sexually impacts so much in this church. It breaks up a family. So why can't we talk about it? Why can't it be and why can't God have a perspective on this? And so what I'm saying is, once it's real, because it was kind of blasé to talk about this stuff back in the
especially in apostolic
in the church. Yeah, but with my kids and the people that I share with, I got the what? Hey, I tell my kids all the time, you think you came from your mama's stomach? Okay. We're gonna let you think that. And just having real conversations with them, hey man, daddy's not perfect, daddy messed up here. And I apologize to my son and my daughter about mistakes that I made to them as kids.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, man, I told you to do this and I was wrong. I'm sorry. All right. Daddy told you to do this, and this is the right way to do that. I was wrong. Because I'm teaching them, one, if you're a man or a woman, own up to mistakes. The other thing is get past it. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And so, because kids are trained, or people are trained to only have remorse when they get caught.
True.
And not when they're in it.
Damage control.
And so I just wanted to keep it. That's what the whole project or me being on reality show, that's what it was about. Just, man, let me just keep it real. This is just who I am. Nothing fake about it. Everybody have issues. I just feel like I am an overcomer. And as an overcomer, you're gonna have issues. That's why you're an overcomer, because you're gonna overcome them. But the notion that I don't have issues, I don't make mistakes, we don't have problems, that's false. And that's fake, and not telling people. So in this process, I just showed the people, man, hey, I don't feel good right now. I miss my mama, bro. I miss my daddy, man. I saw this and this made me think about this, and I'm writing myself out. But the process is you can write yourself out too. I had a friend, man, recently commit suicide.
Oh,
and it's like, bro,
becoming a thing.
He was so up all the time. And so it's like, God, bro. And so the first part of this record is for people, is really focused on mental health. It's just music to help you deal with your issues. The song says, take the pressure off yourself. I'm doing too much. Gotta lean on my help. God help. God help. Because I can't trust nobody else. I must admit that this is the most alone I've ever felt. I do my best to build the kingdom and to do the will, but everybody's eating and they leave me with the bill. And it's like I'm venting as a pastor right here. That, man, I've sacrificed everything, and now you got to help me take the pressure off myself. You see what I'm saying? And so these are the songs, but man, it's anointed, it's empowering, but it's real.
So you're a pastor now.
I am. I'm in transition as a planter of a movement called Free Life. And so our movement is we do hip hop on Sunday morning. It's loud. It's dark. The lights is smoky.
I remember a couple of years ago that was an issue that there was a pastor in Atlanta that was turning down the house lights to give it. May not be your wording, but to the outside it was to give it a more club feel or a more night feel. I remember that conversation.
I mean, to me, the feel is to make the people comfortable. All right. To the outsiders, you might feel like it's a nightclub feel. To the insiders, I don't want you to see me crying in the back.
So that was the notion.
Different. For me, it's a different concept, because the concept most of the time you're insecure too. So the darkness just to help you just chill and focus on where the lights are. So it's a different psychology for people who do all lights. It's like that's good for you, but the people that come here won't go there because the lights on, make you look at my outfit, and I ain't dressed like you. I don't have church clothes like you. I'm not dressed like you. So therefore, turn the lights down so nobody's looking at anybody's outfit. We just here to praise God.
So following that notion or following that theory, is the anticipation is at some point they will move closer to where the lights are in the house? Is following that theory?
It's basically, you know, if you want to come up front, you can. If you don't, you can stay in the back. So it's not about that. It's just about the atmosphere to make you comfortable to get God, man. That's it. Like I said, I'm born and raised Kojic, got discipled in the Word of Faith Church. I was a youth pastor in a Southern Baptist church.
I'm about to say, you were with Dr. Dollar?
Mm-hmm. I led worship there. Now I never did a worship album, but I led worship there. You know, and so in that, understanding all of that, I do understand that there's a guy from our culture that church is not for because it doesn't cater to it based off the culture. And that's African American men between the ages of 13 and 30. That is a hole in the black church. That African American men between the ages of 13 and 30, I call it the age of obscurity of Christ. You didn't hear from Jesus from 12 to 30. Mm-hmm. And it's a searching time, but in the African American community, that age group is the most influential. That's where all our sports guys are. Mm-hmm. That's where all our rappers are. All the influence is there, but the church has no influence in that age group. None. You know, and so we might have a couple gospel singers, but compared to a rapper, it's just no comparison when you talk about influence. And so I'm like, okay, well, we gotta fight. I'm fighting for my sons. You know, I'm fighting for I've seen generation after generation, my brothers, my cousins, my god brothers, my friends go to church and force it until they get out of there and never come back. Well, is that because they don't love God? It's like, nah, I just don't like the way y'all serving it. You know, I'm hungry. I just don't want to eat that. You see what I'm saying? I'm hungry. I'm hungry for God. You know, imagine your worst meal. You know, the thing that you hate the most. Even though you're hungry, you still ain't gonna eat that. You know, I'll just wait. I'm starving, but I'll just wait. You know, and then most of the times you're not gonna really eat something that you hate until you dying.
This is true.
That is the time that most guys in that people group come to church.
So let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Having been a worship leader in that kind of space, mm-hmm. was there a moment where you was like, this is just too confined for me? Like, I need to go in another space. Like, was there a moment?
I'm a chameleon. Musically, culturally, I adapt. That's just who I am.
So were you producing for other non-secular artists while you was doing worship at that church?
No. I committed all kingdom by then.
Okay.
Before that, it was no kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So when I committed, I gave up, to be honest with you, on the music industry when I rededicated my life.
Okay, wait, I need some context. All right, so at some point you leave Florida and come to Atlanta to go to Morehouse.
College.
When you got here to Morehouse, is that where you found yourself in the producing space? Right. While you end up in here?
Right. And I was doing some in high school, but really in the scene of Atlanta when things started popping in Atlanta.
That was my next question. So what time frame are we talking about? 99, 2000s?
90s.
Oh, so you were during that
Freaknik.
I was about to say Freaknik, the Bad Boy movement.
Yeah, all that.
So you were in the midst producing.
Yeah.
So you've seen literally.
Oh, yeah. It was real. And then in studio, like, and we were always close to having placements and stuff like that. Never nothing that really broke off because I was a student as well, and I was traveling with the Morehouse College Glee Club. So we was doing my hands were in a lot, and I was making money, but I was just so the focus of really chasing a record and getting it into certain people's hands, I wasn't there yet. I was getting there. When I graduated, what was
your major? What was your major?
Business. My wife was a music major, and she's my wife with your manager.
I was about to say, I know she handles.
But she can sing like
seriously.
What?
Oh, I got a surprise for her.
She's a jazz, but my wife you talk about me out of the box, there's definitely not a lot of space for jazz soul.
Yeah, this is true.
So we've been debating this, and it's time for her to do her. It's been time for her to do her thing, but we all just want to please God, man. And it's like now it's just trying to make the space for you to do your thing. And so, but yeah, I was producing that, and then 9/11 hit.
Oh.
And everybody thought they was getting ready. The world was about to end, and that's how I ended up in church. We got married. We were living out of wedlock. Shacking, you know how the church folks call it, shacking. We were living out of wedlock, and we decided to get married and go to church. And she took me. I joined the choir, and that was it. I thought that my music career was over because I was like, no church is gonna want to do the music that I want to do, and the youth ministry asked me to help them, and they wanted to do hip hop. They wanted to do what Usher was doing. They wanted to do what LaJohn was doing. And I was like, oh, y'all in my world then. And that's how Canton Jones started producing for the kingdom, And then I was demoing songs and doing stuff, but I was really, like I say, producer mindset, just making it for the kids. And then I got a record deal with Creflo and Taffy's label called Arrow Records, and was more focused at that time with doing records on myself, and that's how it happened. And I got put into the hip hop space because that's what I was doing with the kids. That's what was popping. You see what I'm saying? I didn't even start doing praise and worship till like 3 or 4 years later from being at the church. I was with the kids. And so when they come over there, we lit. And it was, bruh, it had gotten up to probably 700-800 kids in there. Maybe close to 1,000 every Wednesday. It was crazy. The walls were sweat, and we were just lit, but they were on fire for God too. And so that, was like for me. It was not only church for them, but it was like, this is what I like. I like the acting. They did dramas. I was like, I like that. I like this. Why can't this be on the adult side? At least some of the elements. And I love what Pastor Creflo Dollar was teaching, but the fun in the youth ministry is like, why can't we do this culturally for the people that like this culturally? Why do I get my God here, but I gotta go to something not godly to have fun? Or why do I feel like I'm signing over all my fun when I get Jesus? Why does it feel like that? And does it have to feel like that? And I challenged everything creatively through my music. I just challenged it. We're going to talk about women on this. We're going to talk about girls on these songs. All kingdom, all God perspective. We're going to talk about violence on here. That's what one of my most popular songs is called, I'ma Stay Saved. It's me having a cool head because I want to snap. It's not a come to Jesus. Why? Because everybody who leaves this church is gonna have a moment where they're gonna be challenged. So why not put God in that space? And that's all my argument has been. I want to put God in every single space, every conversation, everything we talk about. There's a God perspective, and that's the point of it.
So clearly we can't finish all this in one sitting. Clearly, and I was trying. Y'all know me. Y'all know I usually do an hour, but I was trying to squeeze it all in. We're not gonna have to. So I'm gonna have to bring you back.
Let's go.
There's just too much more I really want to get into. But we're gonna end it here because that's what we have to do. So we will see you guys same time, same place on Blend Blazers podcast with your host Ricardo D. Rice.